doing, good people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel. And while you're at it, smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. Also, hit that post notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. Be careful down in the comment section of the videos. A lot of spam, a lot of scammers. I will never ask you to contact me by WhatsApp or Telegram. I also do not invest money for my subscribers. So please be careful. Don't get yourself scammed. If you want up to 12 free stocks, Webull is going to give you up to 12 free stocks when you open a new Webull brokerage account. Put any amount of money in that brokerage account. They're going to give you up to 12 free stocks for just trying out their brokerage app. There's a link down in the description box of this video. Click on that Webull link. Open up your new Webull account today. Go get that free stock. Go get that free money. I'm going to also send you a Webull tutorial video to walk you through how to use the Webull app to make your first trade. All you got to do is email me, and my email address is in the description box of the video as well. Let me know that you've opened the Webull account, that you've funded the Webull account, and I'm going to send you that free tutorial video to walk you through how to start building wealth immediately. Well, guys, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. We've seen the stock market bounce like crazy. We've seen the NASDAQ get to almost 15,000 points. We've seen the S&P 500 index get over 4,500 points. And then we've seen the Dow get over 35,000 points. In a matter of 3 weeks, it just completely changed. October, it was down. November completely changed and now it's up. But I've been hearing a lot of so-called experts predicting a recession in 2024. And I thought on this Sunday late afternoon, I would give you guys my thought on that. And yeah, just walk you guys through whether I believe it's going to be one or not in 2024 or 2025. So let me first of all talk a little bit about where we've come from. Now, you guys know back in 2022, we were in a tough position. Our economy was facing 9% inflation, right? And what created that 9% inflation? Well, giving out free money during the pandemic. Let's just call it what it is. The Fed turned on the money printer and they started pushing out free money, cheap money, in an effort to do what? To stimulate the economy. Because remember, when the pandemic broke out in March of 2020, the whole country shut down. And when the whole country shut down, that means everything shut down. The supply chain shut down, right? And people stopped spending. And the government said, you know something, in order to get these folks spending again, let's start pumping out this free money and this cheap money, right? We're going to give them stimulus checks on the personal side. And then we're going to go ahead and give them these business loans like PPP and EIDL, dirt cheap interest rate, or total forgiveness. We know PPP was total forgiveness. You jump through a few hoops, you get everything forgiven, right? I don't care if you got $1,000 PPP or you got $10 million PPP. If you jump through all the paperwork hoops and you did what they told you to do, they forgave the loan. So all of this cheap money flooded the market, right? The Fed turned on the money printer, reduced interest rates to zero. Having said that, though, you pay a price when you turn the money printer on. and you reduce interest rates to zero. You pay a price at some point, right? And we started paying that price, in my opinion, in late 2021. And then once we got into 2022, we were full swing into paying that price. Why? Because inflation had gotten to 9% because of all that free money, all that cheap money. Supply chain shut down, supply chain starting to get back online, but couldn't keep up with demand. Production fell behind, supply fell behind, demand kept growing, supply kept going down. Anytime you got high demand and you got no supply, or very little supply, what happens? Prices go up. And that's what triggered inflation to start going up, right? Because we had over demand and we had very little supply. That was started in late 2021 and on into 2022. So in order to fight inflation, what did the Fed decide to do? After the pandemic, or right before the pandemic, after the pandemic, they lowered interest rates to zero aggressively. Now, all of a sudden, you fast forward to 2022, inflation is 9%. They got to do what? They got to increase interest rates rapidly. And why do they increase interest rates rapidly? Because they want to turn off the money supply. See, when they want to turn on the money supply, they decrease interest rates. When they want to turn on the money supply, turn off the money supply, they increase interest rates. And that's what the Fed started doing in the first quarter of 2022. They start aggressively at every Fed meeting, 75, kept jacking the short-term interest rates to do what? To do what? Discourage people like you and I and businesses from doing what? Spending money. Borrowing money, spending money. Again, when you turn the money printer on, guess what? You got to pay the price at some point. And that point came. So for 20 months, the Fed started jacking interest rates to fight inflation. And guess what? It started working. It started working, right? Their aggressive increase of short-term interest rates from basically 0 to 5.5% took a big old bite out of inflation. It went from 9% all the way down to 3.2%. That's headline inflation, right? Core inflation was up in the 6s, and it's all the way down to 4%. So the Fed has done what they've needed to do in order to fight inflation. So if we're in such good shape right now, right? Stock market's doing well. Now, it ain't in a bull market. It's still in a bear market, but it bounced. It's doing good, right? I still think there's opportunity in December for the stock market to sell off a little bit as, big time investors, hedge funds, institutional investors, billionaire investors, if they decide to take profits, you may see a sell-off in the market in December. But right now, the stock market is doing okay, right? We're seeing a bounce. We see inflation coming down, right? Headline inflation, 3.2%. Core inflation, 4%. The Fed ain't bumped interest rates in 4 months, right? Third quarter GDP was 5%. Wow. We even see the labor market cooling off, right? Last labor jobs report came in under expectations. So why are people out here saying that there's going to be a recession? I started scratching my head. I said, I'm hearing these folks, but I'm not sure why they think it's going to be a recession when all of this good stuff is happening. When all of this good stuff is happening, how can there be a recession? Here's the reason why some people believe it's going to be a recession. Let me walk y'all through this. See, when we look at the wealth distribution in this country, even today, you got the top 20% of the wealthiest people in this country are doing fantastic. But you got 80% of the people in this country are not doing so well, even though inflation is coming down, right? Even though the stock market is okay, doing decent, even though the Fed has not bumped interest rates in 4 months, even though GDP is 5% third quarter of this year. Why are 80% of the people in this country struggling? And that's the main reason why people think it's going to be a recession, guys. Because they're pointing to $1.3 trillion in credit card debt. They're pointing to $1.6 trillion in student loan debt. They're pointing to $1.5 trillion in auto loan debt. They're also pointing to 66% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. They're also pointing to that people that work an hourly wage job, that about 50% of these people are having problems paying their rent. 50% of people who are hourly wage earners, 50% of these people are struggling to pay their rent. They also point to about 44 million Americans are struggling to get 3 meals a day. 1 out of every 5 children are struggling to get 3 solid meals a day. That's what they're pointing to. So if you got 80% of the people in this country struggling, you got the upper 20% doing well. Who you think makes the biggest impact on spending? I would say the 80% makes the biggest impact on spending. So if 80% of these people have all these struggles financially, a lot of people saying it's just a matter of time. Because at some point, they believe that 20% of the wealthiest people in this country, at some point, if those people stop spending and pull back, that would be the straw that breaks the camel's back. And that would throw us into a full recession. They're saying the only thing that's saving us right now, the only thing that's saving us is that upper 20% of wealthiest people in this country, because those people are still spending. Those people are really the ones that are propping up the economy. It's not the 80%. Because they've kind of walked me down this path as I'm listening to these folks on TV, as I'm listening to these folks on social media. They're kind of walking you down the pathway, right? They're telling you why the 80% are struggling, why people can't afford food, why people can't pay their rent, why people living paycheck to paycheck, why people got so much credit card debt, why people got this student loan debt that was just turned on. And now people are like, whoa, that's another $300, $400, $500, $600, $700 a month I got to shell out that I don't have. That's why they're saying there's a recession on the horizon in 2024. Despite the fact that inflation has come down. And that's what they're pointing to. They're saying the reason you see inflation coming down is because that 80% is not spending. Well, not at the pace they were spending 2 years ago, 2021. Not at that pace anymore. And they also point to look at the personal savings in America. They said back in like 2021, $2 trillion. Fast forward to November 2023, that 2 trillion is down to about 200 billion. And there are a lot of experts, and I don't mean just any old expert. I'm talking about Federal Reserve of San Francisco believes that Americans will be tapped. The 80% will be tapped by January 2024. So that's why they're pointing to this recession thing, because they're saying, listen, if that upper 20% get buying fatigue, if they get tired of buying, they start cutting back. If they start getting a little afraid of what's happening and they start cutting back and saying, you know something, we're not going to Tahoe on the private jet. We're going to chill. We're not going to Europe this year. We're not going to buy that new house this year. What we're going to do is we're going to reserve our capital and see what's going to happen in 2024, 2025. They're saying if that happens, that upper 20% of the wealthiest people in this country change their habits, if they get buying fatigue, then that's going to throw us into a recession, because then no one's going to be spending. And if no one spends, yeah, inflation drops, but so does our economy, because we got to have a healthy relationship between the growth of our economy and the inflation in our economy. We got to have a healthy mix there, right? Typically, you want to see a little more than 2% GDP, and you want to see inflation stay under 2%. That's the healthy mix, right? But if you got GDP negative and you got inflation 2%, that's not good for the economy, guys. A prolonged negative GDP is a depression. A prolonged, a temporary decline in GDP, right? A temporary decline in our economy growing is what they call a recession. Temporary, short term, right? 12 months maybe. But if you get a prolonged, 24 months of this thing, that's a full-blown depression, man, according to what I've looked at. Now, I don't see anything in that depression category, but the recession category, as I listen to these folks and start doing my own little calculating, I said, well, golly, they got a point here, because, yeah, I've been saying this all along, that the 99%, which is basically the 80% that they're talking about. They call it the 80%. I'm calling it the 99%. So the 80% / 99% are in trouble. The statistics just don't lie. I mean, come on. People are in trouble. I mean, this credit card debt thing is serious. This student loan debt thing is serious. Yeah, I see all these folks talking about the automobile market and how car prices are coming down and all this other crap. Let me tell you something, man. These car dealers are going to do whatever they got to do to sell cars. See, they got a new little trick now at these dealerships. Well, at least down here in Southwest Florida where I live. They got a little trick now. So when you come in there to buy a car, they got this fee that they've added to the dealer sheet. It's like a $2,500 fee. And it's like it's mandatory you pay it. If you buy a new car from them, you got to pay this $2,500 miscellaneous fee. And they try to tell you, oh, that's so that we can get the car prepped. We can make sure it's, they throw in all this crap to try to get an extra $2,500 out of it. Even though prices have come down slightly, right? That's true. But man, if you go to a dealership, look at the buyer sheet. Look at some of the miscellaneous stuff that these dealerships are starting to throw in there. Why? Why are they doing that? Because they're getting squeezed too. You got to understand it. The manufacturer squeezes them. They squeeze you. The dealership don't manufacture the car. They got to get it from the manufacturer. The manufacturer is squeezing them. And they squeeze you by miscellaneous hidden fees. So if you're looking for cars, man, be careful out there. This notion of, oh, your prices are coming down, that's all propaganda, man. That's all propaganda just to get you in there and then they're gonna hit you over the head with something. My point is this. I can understand what a lot of these folks are talking about when they're talking about this recession thing, because that 80% / 99% are struggling very, very badly. And that upper 20% of the wealthiest people in this country, if them people stop buying, then I can see where we go into a recession. I can see that because you got a lot of stuff stacked up against the 80% / 99%. You got a lot of stuff stacked up against them. Most of the people that I talk to, guys, in my one-on-one sessions, these 1 hour one-on-one sessions I do through my company, RF Financial Consulting, a lot of these folks, man, a lot of these folks are struggling. But they're still trying to do what? Change their behavior with money and still build wealth anyways. So I commend them. Even though they got credit card debt, even though maybe they're not happy with the income they're earning on their primary source of income, they're still looking for ways to do what? Increase their income. And that's my point I want to get to. If you know, most of us are in that 80 / 99% where we're struggling, most of us, right? But that's no excuse to not build wealth. How do you get yourself out of that situation? Build wealth. That's how you protect yourself. If you got no assets, you're naked financially, guys. You got no clothes on financially. You're butt naked if you ain't got no assets. And if this recession do hit us in 2024, 2025, 2026, whenever, if it happens, like I said, these people making a good solid case when they talk about all the stuff for this 80% of people out here, they're making a solid case. I'm telling you, the only thing saves you is assets. That's it. What do you think of saving this upper 20% of the wealthiest people in this country? What do you think saving them? Assets. That's what's saving them. Right? But a lot of these folks can turn off the spending, batten down the hatches, and don't have to, can ride it out because they got assets. They got assets. A lot of them might say, well, okay, yeah, I may got to take my money out of the stock market, but I can put it in a U.S. Treasury and get a 5% return for 10 years and just ride this thing out. See, a lot of wealthy people can do that. But if you over here in this 80% / 99% category and that recession hit us in 24 and you butt naked financially, you got no clothes on, which that means you got no assets, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is this. I don't have a crystal ball. Do I believe a recession will happen in 2024? I don't believe that, but I don't have no crystal ball. I can tell you this. The picture that's been painted by some of these experts out here is a pretty dang on compelling picture. And y'all know a picture is worth 1,000 words. It's a pretty compelling picture. When you talk about, like I said, people, listen, man, almost 45 million Americans, guys. That's more than 10% of our population. Don't know where their next meal coming from. That's the point they're arguing. They're saying, we're saying our economy is so good, but you got 45 million people out here who don't know where their next meal coming from. You got 50% of people working hourly wage jobs that do not know how they're going to pay their rent. I'm just telling you. So they paint a very compelling picture. What you got to do, and what I recommend you do, you better sit down, guys, and take a inventory of what's happening with your financial situation now. Because like I told you, do not want to be financially butt naked in 2024 if the thing hits the fan. If this thing hit the fan, You do not want to be in a situation where somebody come to you and say, hey, we appreciate you, but we got to let you go. Because guess what it really boils down to? You or them. That's what it boils down to. Do me as the owner of this company feed my family, or do I let my employees continue working and we ain't got the money to really keep this thing afloat and the whole ship go down? They're not going to let the ship go down, guys. They're going to protect their business and they're going to protect their family first. So whoever you're working for, I don't care how valuable you think you are to them. If it comes down to you or them, they're going to choose them 100% of the time. So only thing protects you is your ability to do what? Have assets. That's why I was telling y'all a couple days ago, leave this Black Friday stuff alone. Now, I don't know how many of y'all listen to me. I haven't seen the figures on Black Friday yet, but I'm sure I'll see them at some point, and I'll do a video on it. But that's why I was telling y'all 2, 3, 4, 5 days ago, leave Black Friday alone, guys. Get that money and start tucking it away and putting it in some assets and start building you some wealth. Because if you're out here financially butt naked in 2024, no clothes on, no financial clothes on, it ain't going to be pretty. No one's going to save you. Whoever your employer is, they ain't going to save you. It's either you or them. They're going to choose them. Y'all know that, right? Let's just be real. That ain't negative against your employer. That's just the real world. See, somebody got a whole nother world up here that they live in. Some people. They got a whole alternate universe they live in. They don't live on this planet. They live on their own little planet where they think everybody's good. Listen, man, yes, there are good people out here. There are. But listen, push come to shove, people going to choose their situation before they choose yours. See, I know that. I've known that for a long time. That's why for me, I've always been, for the last 25 years, building assets. I ain't the richest guy in the world. No, I'm not. And I don't try to be the richest guy or the wealthiest guy in the world. But one thing I do know, I got enough assets to weather any storm. See, one thing about me, I don't care about the things. All I care about is the freedom. I keep telling y'all, y'all better choose. You got to choose things or freedom. See, I don't care about the things, although I am able to afford these things. I can turn them off in a second. The only debt I got is the mortgage on my house. That's it. I ain't got no more of the debt. And my assets are way more than what the mortgage is on my house. That's it. That's the only debt I got. So if I do hit a financial bump in the road, if I do hit a recession in 2024, I'm going to weather it. Why? Because I got cash. I got assets. I got really no consumer debt. All I got is mortgage debt, right? All I'm saying is I ain't the richest guy in the world, but I put myself in a financial situation where I'm protected. I'm protected. All I'm asking you to do is put yourself in a financial situation where you're protected. Because if we go into 2024 and this thing go lopsided on us, this thing flip upside down, what are you going to do? What's your safety net? What's your recourse? What are you going to turn to? If these people tell you you can't come to work the next day, what you going to turn to? I'm telling you, we're out here listening to folks who a lot of times don't have our best interest at heart. They got you in all of these things they got you in that you're paying for. Why in the world you would be in anything on a reoccurring monthly basis that you're paying for if it ain't changing your life? I'm talking about not just, oh, it makes me feel better. Not that. I'm talking about if it ain't changing your pocketbook. If your pocketbook ain't getting fatter. If your net worth ain't getting fatter. Right? Why are you listening to them? The whole point of listening to people is to take the information and you go out and do something, none of these people are going to save you. I can't save you. All I can give you is information and hope and cross my fingers that you take the information and you translate it into action. That's all I can do. But if you think this person over here, they're going to save me, they're going to teach me how to day trade, and no, listen, man, this day trading, this Forex, this real estate stuff that people are trying to, you sending them, 50 grand and they're going to, to get buy a piece of real estate for you, rehab it, flip it in 3 months and send you back your 50 grand plus 30%, 40%. Listen, man, I'm not telling y'all everybody out there that's claiming to do that is not above board, but be careful. Just be careful. Be careful. Because once you wire that money, you're done. Them people do whatever they want to do. Once you wire that money, you're done. All you can do is just band together with some other victims and try to do a little class action lawsuit against them. But by the time y'all get there, them people ain't there. The money gone. Why? Because they're using that money to fund their lifestyle. And most of these people have extravagant lifestyles and they cost a lot to fund it. So be careful out here. Don't put your faith and trust in just one person. Put it in yourself. It's okay to take information, but you got to take that information and change your life. No one can change your life but you. And I'm telling you, get yourself prepared for 2024. I think 2024 is going to be a fantastic year. And you guys know I've been on record saying that. But guys, I ain't no expert. I ain't got no crystal ball. I'm just giving you my opinion. It could be very well the total opposite. I'm optimistic. I think the Fed going to reduce interest rates by June, and we're going to be in the beginning of a bull market. But if that don't happen, okay, sorry, I missed. I got it wrong. But my point is, even if I get it wrong, I've laid the foundation over the last 25 years to cover myself. I'm just telling you, lay a foundation. Start today. A couple days ago, actually about a week ago, I told you guys, hey, put together a commitment list. I want you to put together a commitment list. And my bad, because I had something going on Friday and I couldn't get to the live stream. I couldn't do a live stream on Friday. I had other stuff going on in my life that I couldn't pull it off. So I just throwed a couple videos up. But a week ago, I said, hey, man, put a commitment letter together. These are the goals that you're going to commit to. These are the things you're going to commit to in 2024 to change your life financially. I asked you guys to do that. And I hope you did it. Because I'm telling you, none of us have a crystal ball. I always tell you guys, prepare for the worst, but expect the best. But you got to prepare for the worst. Got to prepare for the worst. But always be optimistic and expect the best. See, that's how I am. I'm optimistic. I think 2024 is going to be a fantastic year for investors. That's me expecting the best. But what do? I'm already prepared for the worst. If it turns out to be the worst year in 10 years, I'm prepared. I got my cash on the sideline. I'm ready to rock and roll. I got no consumer debt, right? I got a primary income source that's thriving. I got a 12-month emergency fund. I got assets that exceed my liabilities. That's the key, guys. If you got assets, but your liabilities are greater than your assets, you know what that is, right? You're insolvent. That means you're broke. So I don't care if you got a house that has $100,000 worth of equity in it and you got a savings account with $50,000. That's great assets. But if you got $200,000 in debt, you're insolvent. That means your assets won't cover your debts. That's called net worth. When you take your assets minus your liabilities, You have net worth. Net worth is what makes the world go around. Net worth is what creates the passive income. So I have assets, I got debt, which is mortgage debt. So if you take my assets minus my mortgage debt, my net worth is positive. It's positive. And 25% of that net worth is cash. Just in case I get it wrong. Like I told y'all guys, I'm not the sharpest knife in the knife drawer. But you don't have to be. See, I don't have to be that brilliant. All I got to do is look at investments that have a historical track record of performing. That's all I got to do. And just put my money there and just consistently do that month in and month out, year in, year out, and decade in, decade out if I have to. I'm okay with that. You got to do that though. And I know a lot of you have started doing that, and I want to say congratulations. But don't let 24 sneak up on you and throw you a curveball that you can't hit. Don't let 24 sneak up on you and they throw you a curveball and you strike out. Because I'm telling you, what these experts are saying has some validity. If you look at the data that they're pointing to that will cause a recession in 2024. Look at the data. Look at the 80%/99% financial data. It is astonishing. As I've already mentioned, 45 million Americans don't know where they get the next meal. 50% of wage earners who make a hourly wage, they're hourly workers. 50% of them can't pay their rent. 61% of people live in paycheck to paycheck. 100 million Americans, no retirement savings. These are the things that these people are pointing to and saying, listen, this is not healthy. It's not healthy that only 20% of the wealthiest people in America are the ones that are financially solvent. The other 80% are insolvent. They miss one paycheck, they're ruined. So the thing for you to do is think about, you got to sit down and look at your situation and say, does that apply to me? Am I one of these 80%? Am I one of these people, if I miss one paycheck, my whole financial life colors people? And how do you determine if you're one of those people? Well, like I've told you, sit down, pencil, paper, write down all of your income, write down all of your expenses, and do a little bit of subtraction. Take your total income minus your total expenses. And if you got a positive number, that's good. If you got a negative number, that ain't good. Now, next step is you do the same thing with your assets and your liabilities. You take your assets. What is an asset? Right? An asset, in my opinion, is anything that has value that you could sell and get money for. That's an asset. If it has value, you can sell it and you can get money for it. Technically, that's an asset. So you take all of your assets, write them down, and then on the other side, you take all of your liabilities. What is a liability? Debt. Right? That's debt. So if I got a house and my house is worth $500,000, but I owe the bank $400,000. My asset would be $500,000 house. My liability would be a $400,000 debt. So when I take the $500,000 minus the $400,000, my equity My asset equity is 100,000, right? So I take my assets, my house, my car, my 401k, my savings account, my taxable brokerage account, right? Those are all my assets. And then I take all the debts, which is the liabilities. Do the same math. Assets minus liabilities equal net worth. If my net worth is positive, that's a good thing. If my net worth is negative, that's a bad thing. So if I got negative on my income and expenses worksheet, I got negative on my assets minus my liabilities worksheet, I got negative, I'm in a world of trouble. I'm financially butt naked. I'm gonna have some problems if we hit a financial bump in the road in 2024. I'm gonna have some problems. I'm not gonna make it financially. I'm gonna have to file bankruptcy or do something financially devastating in order to get to just make it. That's the exercise you gotta sit down and do, guys. If you've never did that exercise that I just walked you through, you need to sit down and do it. Income versus expenses worksheet. Assets minus liability worksheet. Do both. You should be, the goal is to be positive. Positive number, right? Positive number on net worth. Got to have those two positive. If either one of them are negative, you're going to be in, you got some work to do. You got to tighten up and do some work, right? You got to tighten up. And that's all I'm telling you guys. I'm here just to let you know what's happening, what's being said by some experts. Some experts believe 2024 will be the worst recession we've had in a long time. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I certainly understand the picture that they have painted. It's staggering. The information that they're backing their claim up with is staggering information. And I'm just here to tell you to batten down the hatches financially and either way be good. But you need to come up with a game plan for 24, 25, 26 before the end of this year. If you go into 24 with no game plan, then you are setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for failure. If you don't sit down and put a game plan together, you're setting yourself up for failure. And that's just the cold, hard truth, guys. Right? And I know none of us want to fail. We all want to be successful financially. Matter of fact, we all want to be successful in whatever walk of life we're currently walking down. I want to be successful. I know you guys want to be successful. But wanting to be successful is not good enough. Wanting to be successful is not going to move the financial needle for you. I can want all I want, but if I got no action behind that want, then I'm a wanter, right? That's all I am. I just want, but I'm not willing to do anything to make it happen. And that's the difference, guys. We have to start making things happen and stop hiding behind the excuse that we don't know enough. No, we can't do that anymore. We don't have time for that anymore. We don't have time for someone to walk you down and hold your hand and show you every little thing. No, we don't have time for that anymore. That time has run out. We got to get ourselves, put our financial big boy, big girl panties on, drawers on, and get to work. Because if we don't, and we don't prepare for these next 3 years, we may set ourselves back 15 years. That's the way I look at it. And I've already told you the first step in preparing. Whether you do that or not, that's on you. My thing is this. Don't hide behind nothing. See, a lot of times, we wanna. Listen, guys, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ, and I know everything that's ever happened for me has happened because of my faith in my Creator, which is God and Jesus Christ. But God and Jesus Christ is not going to come down here on this earth and change nothing for you. They're going to bring people in your life. They're going to bring information in your life. They're going to give you all the tools you need. But one little thing they gave us is what? Free will, a choice. So my Creator has given me plenty of opportunity. And what I've done to say thank you for that opportunity is I took action. I didn't say, well, Lord, I know you gave me this information, but I'm going to sit here and wait until you, carry me and pick me up and take me. No, that's not what's going to happen, though. For a lot of you, God has brought you into my life and vice versa. You ever thought of it that way? See, that's the blessing. I've been blessed 100-fold by you guys coming into my life. I've been blessed. You got to think about, hey, when someone comes into your life with nuggets, financial information, or any walk of your life that can improve it, can help you improve it by the information that they're giving you, you got to take that information and make it happen. If we don't, all we're doing is just throwing up God and throwing up this and throwing up just as an excuse. So we don't have to do nothing. Guys, don't do that to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. What you need to do is take this information and take action. Stop worrying about being there. I got an email from a couple of female subscribers. And they kind of outline their whole financial situation, man. It ain't the brightest. It ain't good. But one thing I just touch my heart is ain't no quit in them. Ain't no quit in them. They laid out, but you know, at the end of that paragraph, at the end of that email, it was like, but I ain't giving up. I'm gonna change my situation. I'm starting small, but I'm gonna get that thing right. I'm taking the baby steps, but I'm gonna start walking at some point. Then I'm gonna start running. That just touched me. Because even though financially they facing adversity, ain't no quit in them. So what's your excuse? What's your excuse? What is your excuse? You got any quit in you? Or you gonna pick yourself up, point yourself in the right direction, and go get it? I hope so. I hope so. Because 2024, guys, we right around the corner. We right around the corner, man. The day is what, the 26th of November? You got 1 month. You got about 35 days. And you're going to be in 2024. 2023 going to be in the rearview mirror. I'm telling you, in these next 35 days, you need to sit down and get yourself a game plan together. Because if this recession thing happens, whether it happens in 24, 25, 26, of course, I'm optimistic that it won't happen at all, but I ain't no dummy. It could happen. So I'm planning both ways. I'm planning to prosper, and I'm planning to prosper if a recession hits. Because if a recession does hit, that's going to do what to assets? The value of assets are going to go down. And when those assets go down, especially if they're big boy blue chip assets, if they go down, that's an opportunity for me to dive in and buy them all up cheap, cheaper than they are right now. And just like in 2008 when I did that, ultimately what happened? They went back up in value. Around 2013, 14, 15, 16, it just kept climbing. That's my point, guys. Great assets, they go back up in value at some point once the recession is over. So I don't look at it, if we do have a recession, I don't look at it as a bad thing. Because I know if we do have one and I got cash and I got income stream, I can buy assets. If no recession happens and we get ready to go back into a bull market in 24, 25, great. Now all the assets I bought in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, guess what all them getting ready to do? Go to the moon. Because I've been telling you guys since 2020, get yourself buying some assets. Now, it ain't too late. It's never too late to buy good assets. My point is you got to get started. Some of us are just waiting around, waiting on something. I don't know what we waiting on. I get the emails quite a bit. Hey, I got my cash, man. It's in my money market. I'm just waiting. And I reply back, what you waiting on? Oh, I'm waiting on to the real market get ready to go back the other direction. I say, you do know you build your wealth in recessions. You can build a lot of wealth in recessions. You can build a lot of wealth when the market is down. And then you ride the wave until they trade at a premium again, and that's where you build your net worth. So why you waiting? Most times when we wait, we miss the opportunity. See, because by the time these assets start going to the moon, in my opinion, you miss the real wealth. Now, you can still jump on the rocket ship and make you some wealth, but the real wealth, you've missed it. The real wealth is to be had now. Since 2020, that's where you should have been buying. My point is this. No matter what happens, there's always an opportunity to build wealth in good times and in bad times. The key, though, is I got to be financially healthy enough to take advantage of both good and bad times. You got to get yourself in a position where you're financially healthy enough to be able to take advantage of both good and bad times. That's the key to building wealth, guys. I have to be financially prepared for both. And a lot of us right now are not financially prepared for either. Why? Look at the statistics. The statistics tell us exactly what we need to know. Now, that doesn't mean every one of you guys that's looking at this fall into this statistical thing over here I just talked about earlier in the live. That doesn't mean all of y'all fall into that. But it does tell me a good portion of y'all fall into some of the categories. You may not fall in all of them. You may not be worried about where your next meal coming from. You may not be worried about paying your rent. But probably you got credit card debt. Or probably you got an auto loan debt. Or probably you got student loan debt. Or probably you have no retirement savings. Probably you don't have an emergency fund. So we can fall into a lot of different categories. Some of us may be in multiple categories. Some of us may be in one. But at the end of the day, if you're in any of those categories, in my opinion, you're not financially prepared. You shouldn't be in any of those categories. None of them. And it's all within your power not to be. No point of sugarcoating it. There's no one out there can get you out of this mess but you. And it starts with you making a decision today to change your financial life. If you watch this channel, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get me telling you every single day, what did you do yesterday to get you one step closer to your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? What did you do? And I don't ask you that so you can tell me what you did. I ask you that to get you to think, to be honest with yourself. It doesn't matter what I think, guys. It doesn't matter. What matters is you. It doesn't matter what I think. I'm only here to do one thing, provide you with information that I hope can help you get to your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Because I know that's the only way you have true freedom in this country. Matter of fact, that's the only way you have true freedom in this world. I don't care what other country you go to, they got the same hierarchy, haves and have-nots. I don't care where you go. You can go to the most remote place in the world, and I guarantee you, in that society, they're going to have haves and they're going to have have-nots. I don't care where you go. I don't care if you go somewhere they ain't got running water, they ain't got no electricity, they ain't got none of that. I guarantee you they'll have a hierarchy. Somebody gonna be the chief. Somebody gonna be not the chief. So they're gonna have a hierarchy. So it doesn't matter where you go. I don't care where you go. you still got to have what? Freedom. You still got to have financial assets to have freedom. Go back 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years, 5,000 years, 10,000 years. Whoever had it had the power. Whoever didn't have it had very little power. 10,000 years ago, it was that way. It's that way today. It ain't gonna change, guys. It ain't gonna change. It's not gonna change. So don't look for something to change. It's not. Only way things change in my life, I make them change. I come up with a plan. I execute that plan. I pivot when I need to pivot, but I never stop moving forward. I never stop moving forward. Now, while I'm moving forward, I might fall down. But guess what? I get back up and I keep moving forward. I never go backwards. Ain't nothing behind me that's going to help me in the present or the future. I got to leave everything back there and forward. Always forward. The compass should always be pointed forward. Will there be a recession in 2024, guys? I don't know. But I'm prepared either way. And that's the whole point of this video. I don't know if it will be or not, but I'm prepared both ways, guys. I don't care. I'm prepared. I'm going to make money whether it's a recession or whether it's not a recession. Good times, bad times, I'm going to make some money to continue to build my wealth. Some kind of way. A lot of fortunes are made, guys, in bad times. I keep telling you that. A lot of fortunes. I made a lot of money in 2008 to 2017. Made a lot of money in that little period of time. Them 9-10 years changed my life. And those were bad times, financially speaking. Right? All I'm telling you is get yourself prepared either way to be successful. If you do that, you give yourself an opportunity to win and win big. Now, you can sit here and say, oh, this guy, you know, he talking about one day he said ain't gonna be no recession. The other day he say gonna be a recession. This guy don't know what he's talking about. Hey guys, y'all can go ahead and, you know, point fingers and call me this and call me that. I'm okay with that. It still don't negate the fact that you need to do something to get to your freedom. Don't listen to me. Don't watch my channel no more. I'm okay. Trust me, I'll be okay. I'll survive. But it still is not going to get you around the fact that you ain't got no wealth. You out here financially butt naked. You got no clothes on, no financial clothes on. So pointing the finger at me and saying I'm this and that ain't gonna help your financial situation, man. See, a lot of times when people do things like that, they already kind of financially miserable to make themselves feel better because they know they're not doing everything they need to do. They know they're procrastinating. They know they're fearful. They know they maybe have pride. They got a lot of things in their way. So the next thing to do is just come at somebody else because that's the only sense of satisfaction they can get, even though that's a little twisted to me. My thing is listen, if I don't like someone, if I don't want to hear what they got to say, why in the heck do I listen to their videos? Why in the hell do I listen to their videos? Why do I come on social media and click on them? I mean, come on, man. If I don't want to hear somebody, it's pretty easy for me not to hear them. Right? Just don't click on their video. Don't tap into any of the social media stuff. That's pretty, block them on everything. And that way you ain't got to worry about it. But to come out of you, a grown man, to come out of their way to go by somebody's channel that they don't like, they think lying, they think capping, or whatever y'all young people say, all of this other stuff, but yet and still you go out your way to come on my live stream, to come check out one of my videos. And then you want to say something stupid when you get in here, like anybody really paying you any attention. Come on, guys. That is just procrastination, fear. It's procrastination and fear. You can't tell nobody what to do financially if your financial situation is raggedy. Don't come into someone else's live stream or someone else's video down in the comment section who's trying to help people. You coming in here not helping, and you broke. Because see, anybody that has any wealth, that is at their freedom, they don't have time to be coming in another grown man's video comments and another grown man's live stream acting dumb financially. See, most wealthy people don't do that. That's why they're wealthy. Only people do that are people that are just flat broke and are miserable. And they got nothing else better to do on this Sunday. You don't have to be miserable, sir. You can free yourself from this financial misery. Maybe you should take some of this information and try to change your life financially. Get yourself to a point where you don't have to just troll. Please. You don't have to. You can change your life financially. There are steps. First, reprogram yourself. Reprogram yourself out of this old way of thinking. Reprogram your financial self, right? Reprogram your filter system. First course of action, stop being negative, start being positive. If you're going to go to someone's comment section, find something positive to say. That's the first step in changing your life financially, man. Right? Take the negativity out, put in some positivity. That's the first step for a lot of you folks who got nothing better to do but to add more misery in the world. We got enough misery in this world. Stop adding on. Stop piling on the misery. Pile on some positivity. Matter of fact, how about you create a channel and start helping people? A lot of people out here need help, right? But positive help. No one wants to listen to somebody that's a negative Nancy. Nobody don't want to listen to no negative Nancy. Know everything, Bob. Nobody want to listen to them type people. Prepare yourself, guys, for 2024. I'm going to get ready to check out of here. Hey, hit that thumbs up for me. You know I really appreciate y'all rocking with me. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to get out of here and finish up the rest of my Sunday, but I had to tap in with you guys and let you know about this latest recession warning for 2024. And again, man, these folks who are saying recession, they certainly got a lot of evidence. I mean, valid evidence. Valid evidence. But that doesn't mean you can't build wealth. That doesn't mean you can't get to where you want to get to. All I'm telling you is to do this. Sit yourself down, put your plan together, and then march forward. And if anything I can do to help you with that plan, email me. Just email me. Now, I can't consult with anybody the correct way just through email. So don't expect that. But you certainly can email me and say, hey, Richard, here's some bullet points. Here's what I'm doing. What do you think? And boom, I'll shoot you back with 2 or 3 sentences saying, hey, here's what I like. Here's what I would consider. Here's what I think you should consider changing. Give it back to you. You can move on your merry way. Right? Or you can certainly have a full 1-hour financial session with me. My email address is down in the description box if you want to do that. Again, that's not necessary. You don't have to do that. But for people who want to invest in themselves and they find value in the things that I talk about and they feel like, you know, I want to invest in myself and spend an hour with this guy so I can drill down on the things that are really important to me. I know he talked about all of this, but these 2 things are what I really need him to drill down with me and get me a good understanding of so I can go out here now and be ready to go for 24 and build my wealth. So if you want to do that, email address down in the description box. Send me an email and just say, hey, Richard, I'm interested in your financial session, your 1 hour financial session. And I'll shoot you an email back and then we can go from there. If not, hey guys, I'm gonna be praying for you. I'm gonna be rooting you on. I hope you guys got that commitment letter you put together, making your goals that you commit to for 2024 and beyond. Make sure you do that. Don't slip on that. Don't go to sleep on that. Make sure you do that. It's important. Put that thing on your mirror in your bathroom so every morning you wake up, you're doing your do. You go ahead and look at that and reaffirm and recommit that today I'm getting one step closer. You can't just keep it in the filter system. You got to write it down so you can see it every day. You got to visualize that thing. You got to look at that thing and say, you know something, when I get to wealth, whoa, what type of lifestyle am I going to have? It's going to be fantastic. Right? You got to do that. You got to do that. Hit the thumbs up for me, guys. Hit that thumbs up before you get out of here. Thank you again for stopping by. If you want those up to 12 free stocks from Webull, click on that link down in the description box. Open up that Webull account today. Go get that free stock. Go get that free money. And like I said, man, if you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing. We almost got 700,000 people on this YouTube channel. Hey, man, it'd be great if we can get to 700,000 for sure by the end of this year. We got about 25,000 to go. I think we can make it happen. If we go ahead and share this video, we'll get more people to subscribe and get on this financial journey with us. So thank you guys again for stopping in on this Sunday. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm going to be back at it again tomorrow with more content, another live stream, another edited video, just more to come. I'm going to keep pounding every single day because I love what I do and I do what I love. I love what I do and I do what I love. So that's where you want to get to in your life, that you love what you do and you do what you love. Thoughts become things. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. You guys keep chasing your greatness. Never stop believing in yourself. And I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace, love, and happiness.